Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again, and welcome to The Roads with Belle. Today is October 13th, 2024, and this is episode 60 of The Roads Not Taken, which is a weekly series where we go over the news that was unreported, underreported, didn't get the coverage we thought it deserved, or we just found it interesting. And then we go through some questions from y'all. Starting off with some quick channel news. First, if you missed it, we have launched The Interstate, which is a state-level news series hosted by Dee, and I think those are going to come out on Saturdays now. And we will definitely have some holiday specials coming soon. A bunch of people asked for scary stories from me and a spooky sci-fi story from Dana. I know Dana finished hers. I'm still working on mine, so just keep an eye out for them. And also, we're getting questions about whether or not we're doing a fundraiser for hurricane relief. Right now, all we have to do is connect people and make phone calls. So that's something the channel takes care of. If the response from groups closer starts to fall off, that might change. Okay, on to the show. Today is October 13th and Breast Cancer Awareness Day, and also No Bra Day. And on this date in 1307, King Philip IV of France had the Knights Templar arrested. According to a lot of beliefs and legends, this is the origin of Friday the 13th being bad luck. On to foreign policy. The Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to a Japanese organization of atomic bomb survivors who run a campaign to rid the world of nuclear weapons. The organization is likely to use the publicity for a large PR push. Alex Salmond, who was a major figure in the Scottish independence movement, has died. The sister of North Korea's leader has warned South Korea of a terrible calamity if the South continues to fly drones over North Korea's airspace. Kim Yo is a powerful figure in North Korea. An award-winning Ukrainian journalist has reportedly died in Russian captivity. Confirmed details are sparse at the moment. This has the potential to become a major international incident. As far as the war in Ukraine, Ukrainian forces conducted an operation that reportedly destroyed 400 of Russia's drones. This would be a pretty big dent in Russian capability. And we have early reports of an F-16 shooting down a Russian fighter bomber. If confirmed, it would be the first air-to-air kill by Ukrainians using an F-16. Biden has publicly called on Israel to stop hitting UN peacekeepers in Lebanon. And reporting says U.S. officials are losing trust in Israel's government. Meanwhile, reporting suggests that Israel has come up with a short list of options for a strike on Iran. Iran is engaging in a large-scale diplomatic push around the region to stop any potential attack. In more related news, the West sees a chance to politically push aside Hezbollah in Lebanon and get a more pro-Western government. In U.S. news, Kamala Harris released her medical report to show she is fit to be president and is trying to pressure Trump into releasing medical records. Trump has been campaigning in states that conventional wisdom says he has absolutely no chance of winning. While some of the campaign stops are clearly to use the location as a backdrop, others don't really seem to have a purpose. After Hurricane Milton, there are currently still about 1 million people without power by last count. If you're a Duke Power customer, they put out some info saying that most will get power back soon. As previously mentioned elsewhere on the channels, Trump has made increasingly irresponsible claims about the disaster relief effort, Ohio, Colorado, and so on. In cultural news, Trump complained about how Harris was portrayed in the 60 Minutes interview and suggested the FCC should take away CBS's license over it. Remember, Trump refused a similar interview. A bipartisan pair of senators has called on TikTok to hand over documents related to child safety on the app. We'll try to get something out on this in detail over on the other channel. In science news, there is footage circulating online that is not AI generated. It looks like it could be, but it is not AI created. Parts of the Sahara Desert have flooded in Morocco. The rains that led to this are a rarity. The last time it happened was about 50 years ago. In oddities, Michigan's Governor Gretchen Whitmer was on a podcast and fed a Dorito to the host. Catholics saw it as mocking communion, and the governor has issued an apology. Non-Catholic men and a lot of women reacted differently to the clip. A whole lot of people learned something about themselves. Also in oddities, Vance. On to the Q&A. We've got a bunch of questions about when schools are reopening in North Carolina. As far as I know, there is no set timeline. From personal experience, they don't normally reopen until there's running water. I'd look to get that fixed first. Next question was edited for length. Longtime fan, first-time writer. I hope this makes sense. I'm writing to you as a relatively uninformed Canadian with only outside perspective. But please tell me I'm wrong and that this is absolutely not possible. We know every dictator seeks absolute power. Putin, Kim Jong-un, Stalin, Mussolini, essentially Trump's idols. They all have this in common. What is stopping Trump from following his mentors of current and history from doing the same? There's a bit about Roosevelt being elected more than twice and then mention of something from Hamilton. I know to prevent this, the 22nd Amendment was created. Then it says, in a time in which the Supreme Court has been stacked, Roe versus Wade has been overturned, and all the cards are on the table, what will stop Trump from saying, I didn't get my 2 consecutive years, and have the Supreme Court overturn the 22nd Amendment? If Trump can do this and pass the torch, what's to stop this snowball effect and someone young like Vance from doing the same? Okay, so we'll work backwards. The one thing the Supreme Court absolutely cannot do is overturn an amendment to the Constitution. Aside from that, Trump is old. I mean, he's really old, but he can do some damage to our systems and to help pave the way for somebody else. That's why this election is really important. Just wondering, has having Belle as the face of the 5th column changed the viewer demographics? I would be a loyal subscriber no matter if Belle or Beau were on screen, but I was wondering if Belle is bringing in more female viewers or losing some male viewers. Just curious. That's exactly what's happening on the other channel. We lost mostly men and we're picking up more female subscribers, mostly women. Here, we lost some and now we have new people, but there's no real demographic change. But this channel had more women to begin with. So we're picking up just more subscribers here. I don't completely understand why the presidential candidate with the most votes may not win the election. I know it's because of the Electoral College, but what is that exactly? Would you explain, 1, how the Electoral College works, and 2, what would be the steps needed to abolish it? This question is really here just to remind me to do a full video on this. Actually abolishing it would be really hard. However, there are state-level workarounds, and we'll go over them in a longer video. Harris got endorsed by 10 former generals. Trump got endorsed by 200 former generals and admirals. On top of that, apparently, the latter was exclusively covered by right-leaning sources. So the reason it isn't being covered is because it's not true. Harris has been endorsed by hundreds and hundreds of generals. I actually think I did a video on this, and I'll put it down below. The right-wing sources are just misinforming their base. I remember Beau used to reach up and stop the recording, but Belle doesn't do that. I have a sneaking suspicion that Beau is just off camera stopping the recordings. If so, hi Beau. If not, hi other person. I actually used the remote that Beau didn't use to end the recording. If you remember, you never saw his hand go up in the beginning. It's because he used the remote. And then he would turn it off by hand when he was done. I use it for both. Occasionally you can hear the click. But there's nobody up here with me. In fact, none of us can record with somebody in the room. It's harder than you think. So yeah, that's kind of a funny question to me. Thanks. It's funny because he's not really here. All right. So, yep, it's just me. But y'all send me some fun questions because these are getting deep and I need some humor or something around this time of year and this season. It's been very stressful. So that looks like it's it. A little more information and a little more context, and having the right information will make all the difference. I'm reaching for the remote button. Y'all have a good day.